Hello, my name is John Workman, and I'm going to go over the Unit 4 lab model. And this is for the lab final for anatomy at Stanbridge University. And for this is for the cohort ADN 018. I made a PowerPoint. Unit 4 lab model review presented by me, John Workman. Um, a lot of the lab review is going to go over the heart, and the heart is the pump of the body. It pumps blood, um, brings deoxygenated blood back to the heart, brings it through the lungs to pick up oxygen molecules, and then brings it back to the heart, where it is then pumped back into the body so that vital organs and tissues can use it to carry out everyday functions. I labeled 10 parts here. This is an anterior view of the heart, and I labeled 10 portions here. And the next portion of the heart is going to be open a little bit, so you can see inside of it. And there's also going to be another 10 questions there. So for one, it's going to be this structure here. It it is a vein. It's bringing blood back to the heart. Two is going to be this structure here. It is an artery. Um, this whole this whole artery here has a name, but there's certain parts of it. So the part coming right out of the heart, and then the round part here, and then these other arteries branching off of it, which is 6, 7, and 8 here. Um, those have certain names for them as well. This portion here has a name. Um, this artery right here has a name, and this artery over here has a name. So if this is an anterior view, so this is the left side, and this is the right side. Um, so we'll go into it. This is the um, superior vena cava. Two is going to be the ascending aorta. Three is going to be the aortic arc. This whole artery here is the aorta. And so it's ascending aortic arc, and then it goes around posteriorly of the heart, and it's going to be the descending aorta. Um, this is going to be the brachiocephalic trunk right here. This 7 is going to be the left common carotid artery. 8 is going to be the left subclavian artery. 4 is going to be the right coronary artery. 5 is going to be the left coronary artery. And 10 is the auricle of the right atria. Answers are here. Uh, 10 is the right auricle, but it's going to be the right auricle of the atrium. Moving on. So this is that pick the anterior view of the heart, but it's cut open a little bit so you can see inside of it. There's a few things that aren't labeled. I'll just go over them real quick. So we went over the ascending aorta and the aortic arc. This is going to be the pulmonary trunk right here. This is what takes deoxygenated blood into the left and right lung. But we'll go through these. Okay, so 11. There's these two valves right here. These two valves, and what I didn't label is the left and right ventricles. So this is the right atrium right here. This valve pushes deoxygenated blood into the right ventricle. It then shoots it through this valve right here into the pulmonary trunk. once it picks up oxygen molecule, once the deoxygenated blood picks up oxygen molecules in the lung, then it brings oxygenated blood back into this structure, where the oxygenated blood is then passed through this valve into the left ventricle. Once it's in the left ventricle, it goes through this valve, labeled as 19, and then it is pushed out through the ascending aorta, the aortic arc, the descending aorta, the brachiocephalic trunk, the left common carotid artery, and the left subclavian vein artery. So we'll go through these structures that are inside of this heart. So we'll start with 11. The 11 is this valve right here. It is the tricuspid valve. 12 is going to be these cord-like structures, and that is the chordae tendineae, or tendineae chordae. That's right, tendineae chordae. 13, the tendineae chordae, they go down and they have muscles attached to them, and these are papillary muscles. Papillary muscles, and the papillary muscles are connected by this really rigid muscle in here, or not muscle. I mean, the whole heart is a muscle, but this label structure right here, 14, is the trabeculae carnae. Sorry, trabeculae carnae. That's right. So the chordae, or the tendineae chordae, are attached by the papillary muscle, and the papillary muscle attaches to the trabeculae carnae. So I remember this. Well, you do a better job remembering, but I remember I remember this because the carnae kind of looks like a steak, so carne asada. 14 is the interventricular sulcus, so it separates the left ventricle, or the left ventricle and the right ventricle. And 16, this deoxygenated blood here in the right ventricle passes through this valve here, which is the pulmonary semilunar valve. Pulmonary semilunar valve, and once it goes through there, it goes through the pulmonary trunk. Once the oxygenated blood comes back, this is the right atrium. This portion here is more of the 17 here is the auricle of the left atrium. So the oxygenated blood comes back into the left atrium. Once that oxygenated blood is in the left atrium, it passes through this valve on the left side, which is the bicuspid valve, or the mitral valve. Once it's in this left ventricle, it needs to go through the aorta and back out to the body, and it goes through this valve right here, which is the aortic semilunar valve. This dome-like structure at the inferior portion of the heart is called the apex of the heart. And there's also the apex of the lung, but that's on the superior portion. And the bottom portion of the lung is called the base. Moving on. Okay, so these are the answers here. Moving on, the jugular vein and the carotid artery. So these are labeled, just the veins here are only labeled. We'll go over the carotid arteries as well. So what you see here is the superior vena cava, and then the ascending aorta right here. And this is the heart. So all the blood coming back from the head is going to pass on the right side, is going to pass through the right jugular vein. And from the arm, it's going to come back into the right subclavian vein. Once it meets here, before it gets down to the superior vena cava. These are gonna the right subclavian vein and the left subclavian vein are going to meet at the brachiocephalic vein, and this is the right brachiocephalic vein and the left brachiocephalic vein. And just like on the right side, the left side has the left jugular artery, right, or left jugular vein right here. So this is the aorta right here. The aorta breaks off into those three smaller portions. This is the brachiocephalic trunk that we already talked about. The brachiocephalic trunk will then turn into the right common carotid artery right here, and then the right subclavian artery here. As we talked about earlier, the middle one of those arteries is the left common carotid artery right here. And then the third one, you can see it over here, but it breaks off and it is the left subclavian artery. So it's kind of weird, but kind of all makes sense at the same time. Moving on, these are the answers to 1 through 7 of the jugular veins. We're going to move on to the liver. So I labeled 9 little structures in here. The number 1 right here is the left lobe. The caudate lobe is 2 right here. That's caudate. The third, number 3 over here is the right lobe, and 4 here is the quadrate lobe. That's spelled quadrate. 5, this is the gallbladder. The gallbladder will go into here. This is the cystic duct. This artery right here is the hepatic artery. 9 right here, this label right here, number 9 is the hepatic portal vein. And 8 right here is the inferior vena cava. Okay, so that's the liver. So going back, 1, you have the left lobe. 2, caudate, caudate lobe. This is number 2 here. 3 is the right lobe, and 4 is the quadrate lobe, quadrate lobe. So going back and looking at this model here, you're looking at a posterior view of the liver. Gallbladder, cystic duct here. The hepatic artery, inferior vena cava, and the hepatic portal vein right here. Hepatic portal vein, inferior vena cava. Moving on from the liver, we're going to go to the intestines. The stomach is up here in this portion. This is going to be in your abdominal cavity. Right above this this portion here is going to be your stomach. Your stomach will empty into your small intestine, which is this portion, and it's going to kind of come up. The stomach's kind of empty in this portion right here, and it's going to go all throughout the small intestine that's wrapped up very nicely, and then it's going to go. It's going to travel through this sphincter right here, or this valve, and it's going to enter your large intestine right here. Once it enters your large intestine, all this is controlled by smooth muscle, so it's involuntary. So you eat something, goes into your oral cavity through your esophagus down into your stomach, which then it gets even more digested, and then it travels all the way through your small intestine, and then your small intestine is kind of churning and pushing, churning and pushing. So it's all churning and pushing to get out of your body, and it's absorbing nutrients, and it's digesting, and it's giving you what you need, like your energy and everything else that you need to survive. So once it goes through this large intestine, it's just churning, it's just digesting that food, it's absorbing all the nutrients that you need, and it just keeps pushing it out. Um, just keeps pushing it down here, and then it's gonna enter this portion here. This is your anal canal. I didn't. It's not labeled 9. Your anal canal is like more further down here, but it goes down here, and it's gonna turn in. You're gonna defecate feces through your anal canal right here. So these portions right here, we'll go over them. Um, so this upper portion of the small intestine is your jejunum. It's going to go all the way out. It's going to travel all that chyme. The chyme is going to keep churning and pushing, and it's going to enter your ileum. This is the ileum of the small intestine. Once it goes through here, um, it's this sphincter or valve right here. It's going to be the ileocecal valve. Once it goes through your ileocecal valve here, this is your cecum. This is called your cecum. Sorry, my dog's barking. This is your cecum, number 4. And then 5 is, this is your appendix. There's like cartoons about like, what does the appendix actually do? If you have appendicitis, the appendix gets inflamed, and they have to go inside and remove it. It's in your right lower quadrant, and it can cause a lot of pain. And a lot of people say that you don't need it, but then there's a lot of argument there that you actually do need it, and there's been some testing that it actually has a role to play in like your immune system and things like that. But you can live without it. So if this becomes inflamed, it's appendicitis, and it's really painful, and they remove it. So anyways, moving on. So your cecum, your ileocecal valve, your appendix, this 6 is part of your large intestine. And this is going to be your ascending colon. Your ascending colon. It's going up. It's going up and out, up and out. Oh. Up and out. So this is your ascending colon. And then once it moves into this portion of your large intestine, this is your transverse colon. Your transverse colon. So across, it's going across your body. And then once it enters this portion, this is the ascending colon. So this naturally would be the descending colon right here. Once it goes through your descending colon, it's going to enter your rectum. That is labeled number 9. And then it's then feces, and it's going to exit your anal canal. That's defecating. So that is your GI, is part of your GI tract. I'll go through the answers here. So jejunum, Jejunum. That can be tricky to spell. Ileum, your ileocecal valve, your cecum, your vermiform appendix, your ascending colon, transcending colon, descending colon, and then rectum. Moving on, this is the female reproductive system. There's a lot not labeled on here, but I labeled 5 things, but we can go over some more stuff. Um, so this is the female reproductive system. What's not labeled right here is your bladder, is like a woman's bladder. And this is the urethra right here. It's not on this model, I don't believe, but it's on a lot of other models. But right around here would be the clitoris, and then it goes clitoris, urethra, or clitoris, urethra, vagina right here. You're gonna have your labium minor here. That's going to be smaller and closer to the vagina, and then on the outer sides, it's not on this label, but it's going to be your labia majora. So you're a woman's larger piece of skin on the outside. So labia majora, labia minor, and then vagina, urethra, bladder, and then the clitoris would be superior to the urethra. Right here, you have the anal canal, and then the rectum, and then this would be your colon. Going into the vagina down here, this is your cervix. This is a woman's cervix, and then this is the uterus. This is the uterus right here. 4 is the fallopian tube. So the fallopian tube attaches to the uterus. There's one on each side. And then 5 here is the ovary. And this right here is the ureter. So it's not labeled on this model, but your woman's kidney would be up here. And then I believe this would be the right ureter. Right ureter, this is the right portion. And then let's see what else. Yeah, that's pretty good for the female reproductive system. So uterus, vagina, cervix, fallopian tube, and ovary. Moving on to the male reproductive system. There's a lot of things not on here too, but I'll go over them. This sac-like structure here is the scrotum. This is the penis here. This flap over the head of the penis is called the pubis. This is the anal canal here, and then the rectum here, and then the colon here. This is going to be your male's right ureter, and then that right ureter is going to enter the bladder here, and then the bladder empties out through the urethra right here and out for urination. What's labeled is this is going to be the testes or testicles. The medical term is testes, Testis. There's one on each side. There's 2 testes, 2 testicles, 2 testes in the male reproductive system. Above and attached to each testy is the epididymis. That's labeled here as number 2. So within the scrotum is the it pretty much encapsulates the testes, protects them, keeps them warm. Um, this is where your sperm is created inside the testes here, and then it goes out through the epididymis. And the epididymis is here on superior of the testes. It's attached. 3, this very important structure here is the prostate. So what you don't see, what's not on this model, is the vas deferens. The vas deferens is connected to the epididymis, and it actually travels through here, and then it attaches. It goes straight into the prostate. State here, but then you also have this little duct here it's like branching out, but that's part of the like vas deferens. So the vas deferens, so it's your testes, your epididymis, and then it goes into your vas deferens, which then goes inside your prostate. And this number 4 here is your ejaculatory duct. And the ejaculatory duct will send sperm during if two people are having sex, or during ejaculation, the sperm will travel through the vas deferens into the prostate, through this ejaculatory duct, and then through the urethra, and out here. And this is the urethra. And these are the answers. So testes, epididymis, prostate, ejaculatory duct, and urethra. See what else I can find. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the male reproductive system. That's the end of the PowerPoint that I made, but I'm gonna go into, I'm gonna talk about some leukocytes. So 1 second. So these are your white blood cells. There's 5 major white blood cells. I remember white blood cells by the mnemonic, never let monkeys eat bananas. So it goes for neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and basophils. That organizational structure there, that is from most common white blood cells in your body to least common. So it's kind of, you can label these. You can label these once, but then the best way to memorize them for me would, I just literally drew these out multiple times. Once you draw them and then write down like how many there are in your body, and just different characteristics of each one, I think you can memorize them a lot better. But this is your neutrophil. The neutrophil is the most abundant white blood cell in your body. It makes about 60 to 70% of all white blood cells. So that's a lot. White blood cells are bigger than red blood cells, which are right here. But you can kind of memorize, a good way to memorize neutrophils is this nucleus inside. There's a lot going on. It's all over the place. They're connected, as you can see here. Um, they're connected here. There's a lot going on because there's a lot of them. That's how I memorize neutrophils. This is your lymphocytes. Uh, it's a big nucleus here. Your lymphocytes plays a big role in your immune system. There's three different kinds. There's your uh, T lymphocytes, your B lymphocytes, and your natural killer cells. So that is your lymphocytes here. Third most common leukocyte or white blood cell is your monocyte. There's no kind of good way to memorize monocyte, but I just kept drawing them out, and the monocyte has a nucleus that kind of looks like a bean. Um, like it kind of looks like a bean here, and if you look at any histology slide of leukocytes, there it usually always looks like this. So, um, so if you can relate bean to monocyte, good on you. The fourth most common white blood cell is your eosinophil. Your eosinophil it plays a major role in killing parasites or parasite infection. It's binucleated, so it means there's two nucleus inside. Um, I always remember this. It's kind of a funny story, but I was in the Marine Corps and I had a first sergeant named Sino, so First Sergeant Sino, and he was really loud and mean, and he would always call like I can just imagine him saying, "You parasite." So it's kind of funny, but eosinophil First Sergeant Sino fights parasitic infections. That's pretty funny. Uh, this is your basophil, makes about 1% of all white blood cells right here. So your neutrophil, lymphocyte, monocyte, eosinophil, and your basophil. Never let monkeys eat bananas. If I can go through anything else. This is a histology slide of your artery and vein. Your vein. This is going to be your vein here because it is. You can just tell because it's more muscular than your vein here. And I'm going to keep this video short, but I think that's the major portions of this lab review. There was this Irvine models for the final lab exam that we got. There was a lot of slides on the heart. So I think the heart's going to be a big portion of it. Um, so I hope this video was sufficient and that it can be used for future learning capabilities. And good luck studying. And thanks for listening.